when do you want me to come back? And she asked me, come back for what? You are not going to take the statins. So
Maria, how did you find Carnivore?
it was more Carnivore who found me, because of I had tried several times. Well, now I'm 60. I was 60 last April. So maybe from my 30s, I decided to lose weight, and then I gained weight, and lose weight, and I gained weight. I had 2 children. She's now 32 and he's 25. And I got to 92 kilos without being pregnant, but too much because my height is 1.62 meters. So I'm not short, but I'm not tall. So I tried to do all sorts of diets with doctors, mainly with doctors, sometimes from the pharmacies, also with naturopaths. I also did a few things I can say in English, really, but I tried a lot of stuff and techniques and products, and also with acupuncture, with needles, and even things in my ears here. So I tried a lot of things, but then I always kept putting on more weight. So I had some health issues, mental issues too, when I was 40, because my mother had when she was 40, she had a breast cancer, and then she survived. She got until 81 years old, so it was like a miracle for her. But then my sister, when she was 40, she also had breast cancer. So then I was 38, and I was completely convinced that the next one would be me, and I would survive to help my kids growing, and that's all. And but in that time, I was always also on another diet with a very known, very famous doctor here in Portugal. I live in Portugal, South and Western Europe, really Western Europe. And so I was living in Lisbon. I was teaching near Lisbon. And then an acquaintance told me about this doctor. If I wanted to go there, she could get me an appointment. I went there and I told him, doctor, I don't want to lose this much weight in a very short time. It took me about 15 years to gain this weight. I don't have to lose it in 3 or 4 months. But he did the same as he does to everyone. And I lost 12 kilos in 3 months. Then I was suffering from the worries about my sister, and the worries about me, who wouldn't be live to see my children grow. And then I did this stupid diet, and then some 4 months later, I was coming from their doctor, their pediatrician, from the same road I took every month. And then we had a stop. I stopped there, and when the green light came, I didn't know where I was. I was driving, but I didn't know where I was. I didn't recognize the place, the houses, nothing. Then I started with the car. I started the car. I suddenly started to recognize, not suddenly, very slowly started to recognize where I was. And then I decided to make an appointment with a neurologist. I got there, and she told me that I was with depression, deep depression, and a serious burnout, and I had to take a lot of medicine to recover, so, to sleep, because of the depression, because I never stopped working with my pupils at school. And they are between 12 and 18 years old. So it was a very difficult phase in my life. Then I went over 90 kilos again, and very unhappy. And when the symptoms were, I was having the symptoms of anorexia. All my hair was falling down, and the nails were breaking very, very shortly. And then I completely forgot everything. I thought I was getting Alzheimer's. Then I went to another doctor who did me a lot of tests to see if I had sensibility in my fingers and a lot of things, electronic things too, to find out what I had. And then he told me it wasn't Alzheimer's. I was very surprised, and he even asked me if I was if it was a deception, because it wasn't Alzheimer's when I was about 38, 39. And then he said, you are very, very tired. You have to recover. And then, so you have to go on working and taking care of your children, of your husband, your house, your work. So, and you have to be prepared for if something else happens to your sister, because it can happen again. And it really happened more times, but she's still alive. God, thank God. So it was and then after we were about 2002, 2004, when this happened. And then, well, I stopped worrying about that, stop doing radical things for my weight, tried other things. But then one of my colleagues lost weight very suddenly, very quickly. And then I asked him what he had done. He told me, it's almost a secret. But if you want, well, tell me about it. It was, we were on 2011. And he told me he went to a paleo, he did a paleo diet. What is it, the paleo diet? He told me about it. He gave me the contact of his nutritionist, and I went there, and he told me, well, if you want to know, he asked me what I used to eat every day, and I ate a lot of meals, because we have to eat 6, 7, 8 times a day, otherwise we get ill. So I get a bit upset when I have to talk about this. Well, so he told me, well, with all that you eat and all those times you eat and the type of food you eat, you're getting ready to be diabetes, several kinds of cancer, several kinds of skin issues, IBS, and the list goes on. It was about 7, 8, 9 illnesses, and I was shocked. I was really shocked. So he asked me. He was a bit harsh, It wasn't very, very like I think he was already a bit. He got used to people who didn't like what he had to say and didn't come back. So he was doing exactly the same. If I want to come back, if I want to do this, I will come back and I'll get better. If I don't, okay, bye. See you. We won't see you as again. We won't meet again. So he told me that I had to quit all carbs. And so first and foremost, milk, cow's milk, and then rice, bread, rice, potatoes, and pasta. It was 5 foods I had to quit, and also processed foods. But we didn't talk very much about that. But I already had the habit to look at the nutrition label. So I already did wasn't buying a lot of food with ease and a big list of ingredients. I already had that care because I'm from the south of Portugal, from the countryside, where we usually ate the usual from Mediterranean diet with lots of meat, and when I was a child, also the fats of the animals and butter and a lot of fish. I think it's the Portuguese and the Japanese who eat the most fish in the world, or about that. We have very, very good fish. It's delicious. So we eat it the whole year long. And then we use a lot of olive oil. So very natural, extra virgin olive oil. My family also produces for several generations olive oil, so we use it a lot. We still use it. But my mother, okay, it was the time, the 60s and the 70s, where olive oil is bad. You have to turn into vegetable oils, and then margarine and all that. So it was difficult to do the opposite, Mainly when I got to Lisbon to study, and then I was all alone and ate the same as the other students. It's cheap and it's easy and it's quicker. So my weight kept on, and then I decided to make a diet, and then the weight kept on. Well, it was a life a bit difficult because of that. And then when I had my children, I started to have real issues with back pain, elbow pain, knee pain, tendinitis, arthritis in several places, arthrosis here on my fingers. Every day it was itchy and hot, and I lost the sensibility in my fingers a lot of times. So I was puffy, and now I can say that I weigh the same as I weighed when I was 18. When I was 18, I thought I was very, very, very fat. But this morning I weighed about 69 kilos. That's my weight when I was 18, when I went to university, So it's a big victory. So I think that 2 weeks ago, I found looking for some papers and so on, and I found a paper from a doctor where it said that 10 years ago I was weighing 92 kilos. So today I'm weighing about 69, 70, and I'm not hungry. So it was. I think it's not a miracle because I know what I did, but it's really to be able to reduce my weight and not gaining it. It's a kind of almost a miracle.
How did you move from paleo to carnivore? What
Okay.
was the transition like there?
So with paleo, I really started to lose weight, and I lost the main aches I had on my hands. The arthrosis stopped, never grew up again. I think I will not have the fingers like my mother and grandmothers and father and other people of the family have. So that's a victory, another victory. And then, but I still had to eat 6 times, 7 times, and also there was a lot of processed foods like sausages and canned tuna fish and other things that I didn't like because I prefer natural food, one ingredient food. So I kept the best habits, but that I didn't lose more weight than I think I went down to 82, 83, more about that. Then my sister, now I'm going to talk about my sister. She had been operated to her breast cancer several times. And then she got better from cancer, but she was very, very heavy. She weighed about more than 130 kilos. So one of the doctors, her family doctor asked her if she didn't had already heard about the Kido Diet. So we were now in 217. So she said no, but it's a bit weird because I think she thought it was a bit weird because she's a nurse. But okay, she said she didn't know it. Her doctor told her about a book from Mark Sisson's. I think it's Blueprint, Paleo Blueprint or something like that. Primal Blueprint. She told me about it. She bought it. I also bought it. I read it very quickly, and I found out a lot of things. It was like an epiphany to me. So I started to do as much as her, but she had to lose much more than I. So I decided that I had to lose this weight, but very slowly. Now I was this heavy for almost 30 years, and I didn't want to lose it in 6 months. So now it's past. I started between, I think, January 2019, yeah, before the pandemic. I started then, before summer. And then what I found out was that it was easy to eat like this, free of carbs, because I didn't crave more carbs every day. And then I also find out that I was less and less hungry every day. So I stopped having breakfast. And then I only drank coffee without sugar, coffee and some nuts. And then I got to the lunchtime without eating anything. And I already had been in my classes for 4 to 5 hours the whole morning, only drinking first just one coffee, and then a lot of water, and with no gas. I don't like mineral water. And then tea, different kinds of tea with no sugar. So then on, and sometimes it's 3 in the afternoon and I'm not even hungry, and 4 and 5 and I'm not even hungry. So I started doing fasting without knowing that was fasting. Then I got to, after reading Mark Sisson's book, I looked for it web. So I went to YouTube looking for more things from Mark Sisson, and then there came the, torrential, videos from first Dr. Canberry. It was the first. So I'm a faithful listener, and I watch also his not every day, but every week, several things he puts on YouTube. And then the others, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Chafee, and so on, Jason Fung, and then from South Africa, Dr. Tim Knox. And then I also watched Michaela Peterson. Even before I knew who her father was. And then I started, everything started to make sense. So I started to, I'm not alone because I have my sister. She's elder than me. My eldest sister, I trust her. She doesn't want to get worse than she already is. So I trust her. But it's very, very important to have, you call it a tribe, a group where we leave our questions. Everybody helps or tries to help. And then because I had my sister, but some people have no one to look up to and to ask some things and to show their doubts, and and so this was my journey until I met keto, and then Carnivore, and then Carnivore, and so that's why I said that it was Carnivore that found me, not I who found Carnivore, because the Carnivore thing just appeared in one of those days I was watching YouTube to get to know more things about this. And sometimes I try to help other people, like colleagues and friends and some relatives. Somebody, what did you do? I did this. Oh, you're mad. What? So that much fat? Oh, you're gonna be. How about your labs? And you're gonna be. You have a heart attack. And well, if you want, I can show you my labs. So well, because my labs, I didn't say this before, but each year I went to the family doctor. I did all the labs they wanted, and usual. Oh, you have cholesterol. It's too high. You have to take a statin. So I did it. So not for a long time, because I started to have. I already had pain in my joints. So I got worse, and I had hepatitis A when I was 7. So my liver, it's not the best one. And then sometimes I had problems with my liver. And I found out that one of the times I had to do labs before going to doctor, the liver was worse. And I even tried to give blood. And then they said, oh, you have some problem with your liver. You have some inflammation. So I couldn't give blood. And then every single doctor every year they said you have chronic inflammation every year. And I asked, but what? But why? Oh, did you have a throat inflammation? Did you have urinary inflammation? Did you have this and did you have that? No. So maybe it's hereditary. Oh, thank you. So they didn't tell me, they didn't show me what I could do. And if I went to this doctor from this specialty, and he said something, then went to the other, and then went to the other. So this doesn't end. So it was only when I started really paleo, and some of the aches disappeared, and then, but not all, the back pain and a lot of other things. I was suffering from them. IBS, sometimes with bleeding, with stomach pain and gut pain and lots of gas, and it was awful. Sometimes I almost lost the strength of my legs. I almost fell down. Plantar fasciitis for 2 or 3 years. That disappeared. I had, in the back of the feet, small bones growing. It also disappeared. I had two knee interventions because they were a bit destroyed, but then I recovered happily. And then sometimes my arms ached so much that I couldn't wash my hair when I was in the shower. And sometimes the water, even the water on my skull, made me suffer. I had headaches because of the water, and not because it was too cold or too hot, because I don't like hot water. So it was terrible pain sleeping, terrible mental fog. I didn't know what it was, mental fog, until I started listening to other people saying they had mental fog, and I thought, oh, this is what I have. And sometimes I listen to other people talking to you, and other people talking, and then I say, I had this. Oh, I also felt this. Oh, I also felt this. Oh, I don't feel this for 2, 5, 3 years. So, this is nice. Then sometimes I'm in the supermarket or somewhere else, and I see people really suffering with the same things I suffered, and I think, Maria, be quiet, or you say something, or you be quiet, or turn your look at in the other direction, because it's difficult not to say something, but people don't like it, If they don't know us, and we're gonna say, what? You're too fat. Let me help you. We cannot do that, but it's very difficult, My
Yeah.
sister, she lost more than 50 kilos, and her spine was already very, with a very heavy curve. She had lost a few centimeters. She's always been taller than me, and a few months ago she was smaller than me, but now she's better. The only pain I still have, it's from the sciatic, from the first pregnancy, and then it got worse, even worse on the second pregnancy. And then it's like near the sacrum, the bone here, and in the back. It's the only pain I usually have. It's my oldest friend, but I don't take anything for my pains, never. Then last year in July, I went to the doctor because with the pandemic, I lost the right to go to the family doctors as many times I went before. And then I went to a private hospital. I did my labs, and the first I also watched my labs, and then the triglycerides went down, HDL went up, but LDL was up. So everything, the rest was nice, no problem. So the doctor told me, "Oh, you have a big problem," and I was guessing what you would say, and she, "Oh, you have a high LDL. You have to take a statin." And please, I remember Dr. Berry saying, "You refused gently." So I gently refused the statin, but she was very furious. So she picked the papers, she picked the papers like this, and then on the table, and sat back, waiting for me to go up, to go out. And then I said, "Oh, but please, doctor, don't be mad at me. I just think that for lots of years, every single year, your colleagues told me, you have a chronic inflammation. You have a chronic inflammation." And she stared at me and asked, "What chronic inflammation you have? You have nothing here." And then I asked her, "But if I don't have a chronic inflammation, why do I have to take a statin? Because it has given me more problems. I already done it before, and it with very bad results for my liver and my joint pain and so on." And she said, "Oh, if you don't want to, you don't take them. Don't take them. But you have to." And I asked her, "So when do you want me to come back?" And she asked me, "Come back for what? You are not going to take the statins." So that's what she told me. Okay. Then I turned to another clinic that I, in the meantime, found out that was working with Dr. Kenberry and other doctors I already knew from the media. And then because I was listening or watching a podcast, and what Dr. Berry was talking to two doctors, and then I started to listening to them, and I said, "Wow, but this doctor, she's Portuguese, because she has a Portuguese accent. I know they do integrative medicine. That's new for us here." And then I made contact with the clinic. I told her about this, and then I had my appointment. They did other labs. The other didn't ask because they thought it wasn't necessary. And then she told me, well, you have overcome a lot of problems. You're cured. If you want, you can come back next year. If you want, now I will make another appointment in 1 or 2 weeks to know if I'm better. Because since last July, I lost about 6 or 7 kilos more. So I think I'm better now.
So, Maria, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give to someone starting carnivore now?
Talking to someone you trust, who can guide you through this, because we have lots of doubts and disbeliefs about this, because the mainstream is still the contrary of what health and nutrition should be. So that's the main one. And then don't give up, because if you but listen to your body, because if you give up and do the same for 1 week, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel much worse than you were already feeling. So I think it's not good to do the same before, but we can try, and then we take our our conclusions. We draw our conclusions from that. Yeah.
Nice. So, Maria, do you have any social media that people can reach out to you on?
No, I want to continue very discreet as before. I just wanted maybe some of people I know to not see me, but believe this can happen, because I have lots of pupils, girls mainly, but not only, girls and boys who are suffering from ADHD and even bipolar and other things. Old people, my parents, my father, my mother is always diseased, but a lot of people I know who would have a better life, even with 70, 80 or more, if they really decided to change their food, the way they eat. So I would like to be an example if they wanted to follow it. Some people of my family already started, but I would like more people to do it, because I think it's healthy. Yeah. That's it.
Well, Maria, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
I also appreciate being with you. Thank you. And go on, because I like it. Yeah, it's very, very thoughtful. You're very sensible with people, and I like to listen to their stories, because we think, oh, it's only me. No, it's not only me. It's thousands and thousands of people.